Oh, good tip. See, when you get a can like this, all right, don't throw it away. After about 3 of these, it doesn't matter. You can't taste the difference. Hey, everybody, I'm Doug, and this is the bottom line. Love you guys. Big square. I don't know what the square means. And this is the bottom line. If you're seeing me on green screen, that means Paige is still on vacation. Don't fear, okay? By the way, we film these a little in advance, so it's kind of like the same time frame. It's only a couple of days. But at the party in a couple of days, Thursday, we're going to be filming, and she will be there with her mom, actually. That's pretty cool. Okay, speaking of the party, okay? Don't forget, October 27th, 6 to 10 p.m. at the Wharf. I know there's a few other parties going on, but this is the one you want to be at. Right now, we have like 450 RSVPs. 450 people. Oh my God, what am I going to do? All right. And guess who we have to thank for that? Oh, by the way, if you RSVP, you get a couple of free drinks. You get drink tickets. If not, just show up. We're going to have a blast. And it's all because of the sponsors of the bottom line. And we're going to talk about those real quick, then we'll get into the show. Big news today. Big news, so stay tuned. So, Marine Data Solutions. Obviously, this week, I've got 99 problems on board, but
the internet's not one of them.
And Salty Rags Crew Apparel. What does Salty Rags do? Well, they do bed linens, they do murders, they do executions, they do blackmailing, they do, I think that's about it. Dave takes care of it all. He works at night mostly, all right? He also does bed linens and he does crew uniforms and stuff like that. So call him about 2 or 3 a.m., use code, you'll figure it out. Salty Rags Crew Apparel, we love those guys. They're one of our longest sponsors, and you know, just give him the work. He's so flooded, by the way, because of the show that he can't keep up. That's kind of funny. We have Hargrave Custom Yachts. I got a big announcement in Yacht Industry News about Hargrave. You guys better stay tuned for that. But never forget with Hargrave, the middle word is custom. Hargrave Custom Yachts. Why is that a big deal? Because if you are a captain, if you are a chief stew, if you are an engineer, if you're a chef, you get to design your own boat. As long as the owner signs off on it, you guys can go upstairs to the famous room where all this stuff goes on. And you could, I want this wall here, I want that wall there, I want my bed bigger. I did that when I built Renaissance. I made my bed bigger. Okay? As long as the owner signs off on it, they don't care. All right? Matter of fact, I think we should actually have a crew competition to design the ultimate yacht. I guarantee you, if it's a good one, they'll build it. Now, we got a few more. Pay attention. Okay, we have Interior Technology Services. What do? They clean all of the inside of the boat, and they also clean carpets and stuff like that. They take care of flammable or inflammable carpets. I can never figure that out, which one's the right one. But listen, if you're in class, you need to have fire retardant carpets. And guess what? Those guys can sign off on that. All right, I'm gonna give you a little tip. If you don't know if you have fire retardant carpets or not, take a match and try and burn it, okay? If it doesn't burn, it's fire retardant. If it does burn, call the fire department. Okay, now, because of the party, we also, I want a big thank you out to Marina Mile Yachting Center. All he did was Dave was like, look, we're kicking in some cash just to buy the crew free drinks. So show up and thank Dave. And we got Admiral Canvas kicking in some money for you guys. These people are awesome. Take advantage of it. And Admiral Canvas, what they do? Well, besides cushions and everything else, they do enclosures, all right? They keep the outside in when it's too cold. I just came back from Newport, so I understand. All right, let's get into Yacht Industry News. Do the thingy, boom, boom. Working. In other news tonight, Russia pushes even further into Ukraine and vows that nuclear weapons is not off. I'm just kidding. Why am I sitting at this table looking like this? I'm gonna tell you, I got reading my new magazine. This is what I gotta read now. Oh, that's a nice boat. Why? Because I'm a yacht broker now. Can you believe it? Okay, in all fairness, I did pass the salesman test, which is just nothing. But there's only really, the way it works is you got one yacht broker and then all the salesmen work for them. So who do I work for? I work for Hargrave now. And I'm working for Hargrave on this one deal because, ready? Renaissance is for sale. That's right. And everybody thought it would be a great idea to get me involved to cause some real damage during this and help sell the boat. I'm co-listing it with the president of Hargrave. The president of Hargrave is Mike DiCantina. So the way it works is Mike tells me how it works and I shut up, okay? Or he says, oh, you can't say that. Now, Mike's been really great with all of this, and I've learned a couple of things being a yacht broker. Well, first of all, I bought 40 of these. I had to join a yacht club. And I also have a deposit down on a Ferrari because I've spent the money before the sale of the boat. I think that's pretty typical too. So I think I'm filling right in. Oh, and now I can't talk to, yacht crew, and I got to be mean to captains, but or just ignore them. Nah, I'm just kidding. There's some really good ones out there, and there's ones that aren't. So that's the big news. Renaissance is for sale, and God help us, I'm the one listing it with Mike DiCantina, the president. And she's just a great boat. It's been 6 years since I've built her as a build captain, and I've been with the owners for 11 years, and there's nothing wrong with the boat. It's just, they've had 35 boats. They've built 5 Hargraves, and, there's a time when you retire from yachting. And usually that lasts about 2 years, and then they come back. What is Renaissance? Well, we all know Renaissance. It's a fabulous charter boat. It has never been beat up. It's never been down in the Caribbean. I took great care of it. She has an 80% return rate on charters. It was listed just a few days ago, and the day before it got listed, I had my first showing. Dun, 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 dun. Well, with the help of Yanni from Hargrave Custom Yachts, because I am, I guess, what you call a junior broker. So I have to sit there but I'm learning a lot. Actually, I showed the boat, and the guy loved it. And he was there for 3 hours, so I guess he loved it. And I think I've learned all the lingo. So how many cruises does this 35 meter take? Just two. Just two. You bring more on as you need it. And as soon as you leave, you go away. Another yacht broker trick is when somebody says, well, I'm not sure I can afford this. Just charter. That's okay. No big deal. Nah, I'm kidding. We had a very long conversation, and I was shooting from the hip. I mean, I was telling him how it is. And the thing is, with these millionaire types that can buy these boats, is they're not stupid. I mean, they're millionaires. They got there for a reason. But, maybe there's other people on the boat that know more than they do, but they know the right questions. And the most important thing that I've just learned in one showing is give them straight answers. And some of the answers aren't going to be what they like. But I'm going to tell you this. At the end of this 3-hour meeting, the guy didn't want to leave. He's like, I love this boat, and he can definitely afford it. So that's just the first showing. I'm sure there's going to be more. Anybody interested in Renaissance, call me. Isn't that crazy? In the meantime, so I'm just going to have fun playing yacht broker for this sale, and then we'll move on to other adventures. But that's it for yacht industry news. The big news is Renaissance is for sale. I love that boat. There's a little bit, it's a little sad for me at the same time, but I really appreciate the honor and privilege of being involved in the sale. I get to see the other side of it. So for anybody else who really wants to do some damage to your reputation, call me up and we'll show the boat, and then I'll sink it for you. Well, I won't sink it for you. Tech Talk. What are we going to talk about with Tech Talk? We're technically talking about lithium-ion batteries. Why? Because one thing we've learned recently on the west coast of Florida is days later, salt water gets into these batteries on these cars and they explode. We all know electric cars don't like water, but salt water, whether you know it or not, conducts electricity. So apparently, just because the water subsided, water got into the batteries and it leaked down to where it shouldn't go. And then all of a sudden, days later, the cars are exploding. Now, a normal car fire takes about 800 to 1,000 gallons of water to extinguish. An electric car fire takes 10,000 gallons of water, and it's very hard to extinguish. Why am I telling you guys this? This is a boat show. Because you guys, like me, all of a sudden have a whole bunch of lithium-ion batteries on board. I have them for the bikes. I got them for the e-foil, the funny little thing. I've got them for cameras. I've got them for everything. So in Tech Talk, here's a couple tech tips. Never charge these batteries without supervision. Now, I'm not saying you got to assign somebody there and just watch them, okay? But do it during the day and do it in an area where people are frequently going in and out of, like deck floors. The deck crew. Just don't plug them in and go to sleep. That's probably a problem. I'll explain why in a second. And the second thing is, because these batteries a lot of times go into salt water, you have to inspect them a lot. You have to check to see if there's leaks, cracks, whatever in the battery casing, because just because it doesn't catch fire just then, doesn't mean it is not going to catch fire later on, like these cars have showed us. Now, why shouldn't you charge them at night? Well, remember that dive boat over in California, 34 people died because they plugged all their dive camera lithium-ion batteries, this is the theory, into the plugs in the galley upstairs, and they all went to sleep. And then the boat caught fire late at night, and they couldn't get out. It was a really bad mess. So we don't want the yachts doing this. And I think already in the Med, one boat already had a similar situation sitting on the dock. So listen, don't charge them unattended, and definitely don't charge them at night. Always check the batteries to make sure that there's no cracks. Just because there's a crack and it's like, oh, it looks okay, doesn't mean there's not water in there. And the next time you put in your e-foil, there's going to be more water. And then next, guess what? Boom, they just go. Okay, all right, that's it for Tech Talk. We're moving into bottom feeders. Give me the shark. Bottom feeders, we got first one, Captain Trenthon Jones. Cap, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. That's why we're doing it. Guess what? He's in Australia. There are people watching us in Australia. That's pretty cool. Second one is Shannon Mick. Shannon Mick, she's a stewardess or a chief stewardess. I don't know where she is, but I suspect she's in Fort Lauderdale. And the third one, I don't know if I've given a shout out to this one before or not, but it's to Lori Lucas. Lori Lucas, Captain Lori Lucas, is she's up in New England. I think she's on her way down, or she's probably back already. Big shout out to you, Lori. Hey, listen, Lori, balls to the wall. And gang, that's not my phrase, that's hers. Okay, let's move into Crew Corner, and we're going to talk about chefs and crew food. Okay, let's do it. Damn it. Okay, Crew Corner. As always, Crew Corner is brought to you by Crew Haven. What's Crew Haven do? Well, they provide housing for crew while the boats are in the yard. Cap, don't go stay with the crew. Go get your own Crew Haven place. They've got more than one. Never forget, Crew Haven, they don't drag anchor. You don't have to stand the night watch. If the storm comes up, just drink some more. All right, and if you want, they got monkeys. They got gold Rolls Royces. They got, if you've ever been in Ibiza, when the foam, the stuff comes down, they can do that too. Jamie's awesome. Crewhaven1501.com. Never forget, they were formed in 1501. It's a great place to stay, guys. It's top tier. Okay, now we're going to talk about chefs cooking for the crew. So, a couple of things. First of all, chefs are not really there to cook for the crew. They're there for the guests, the charter guests, and the owners. I mean, let's face it. If it was just crew on board, we wouldn't have these chefs. And, in all fairness, some chefs are a little temperamental. Get out! But you kind of have to be, because it's a pressure cooker of a job. I always say, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the galley. All right? But they still stay. All right, anyway. So what are the problems? The problems are, recently, I would say in the past couple of years, crew come on the boats and they're like, I have a chef. And they just go up to the galley and they order whatever the hell they want and they expect it, all right? And that doesn't work. It might work if you're on a little boat with a couple of crew, but if you're on a boat like my boat, I got 6, 7 crew sometimes, and there's other boats with 10, 12 crew. You can't do it. Even a boat with 4 crew, chefs are gonna pull their hair out. Exhausting. I mean, you can't, it's not a cook to order situation. So what I do is I always tell my chefs, I said, make a 1-week schedule, all right, of food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, all right? Make sure out of a week, so we have 6 crew most of the time, so every week somebody's gonna get their favorite, all right? And I would say another 4 or 5 days of that, you got food that you can, it's okay, and one day you get your favorite. So that leaves 1 bad day of food. Refrain from going up to the galley and saying, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. Get out! We're not your parents, okay? We're not here to take up where they left off. You can't go, oh, Mom, I want some more, okay? It's not gonna work. It's literally, and I tell my crew this, if you don't like it, don't eat it. As a captain, I eat what the crew eat, okay? If I don't like it, I just eat around it, all right? And now let's talk about the crew side. Some of the things are, the captain's like, oh, what you got there? What are you cooking for the owner? Oh, steak and lobster? Great, I'll have that. Don't do that. That's craziness. And get a grip! He's cooked 6 or 8 or 10. Now he's got to throw another one in there? No, that's wrong. Okay, and then the crew, oh God, I hate this. They walk into the guy and go, I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat this, or I don't eat fish, or I don't eat chicken on Tuesdays. And you know what? I look at them and I go, give me a freaking break. Last night you were down in tequila, all right, eating chicken wings all night. And they're like, well, I'm a vegetarian on the boat, but I do go off the boat and indulge. This is nonsense, all right? First of all, either you're a vegetarian or not. But anyway, I digress. just tell the chef if if you're allergic to anything, and you just got to, you're not at home, all right? Healthy meal, maybe a vegetarian alternative. There should be enough on the table where you can eat around it. That's what I do, and I suggest all you guys do the same. Stay out of the galley and stop bitching and complaining about the food. They've got more important things. My boat, we eat at like 5 or 6 or 6:30, we adjust. And then owners or guests or charter guests eat around 7:30 or 8, and we also adjust for that. They don't have time for this. Chefs are very busy, okay? They're there to make sure that everybody on the other side of the door gets what they want. They're not there to make sure you guys get what you want. And the chef is here for the owners, guests, charter guests, not for the crew. So I'll leave you with this. We all have to work together. Just take into consideration how busy the chef is, and they really don't have time to do this. It's just my opinion. Every boat's run differently. Anyway, I hope to see you guys in a couple of days at the party. All right, love to see you there. And if you can't RSVP, just show up. All right, and bring all your friends. I'm Doug, and nobody else is here. Next week you'll see Paige, and this is The Bottom Line.